I just finished the Green Bone Saga and I am emotionally devastated. It was a really good series. Hey everyone, how's it going? I'm the Atom Particle, and today I will be reviewing Jade Legacy, the third and final book in the Green Bone Saga, written by Fonda Lee. So what you just saw was my reaction immediately after finishing the final book, and yeah, I was pretty happy with it. I just want to say right away, what a cohesive story. Fonda Lee was able to balance so many different storylines all at once and create just a cohesive narrative that in the hands of a less skilled author feels like it would have just been convoluted or confusing. She was able to create a story and finale that just tied everything together and everything just had an awesome payoff. So like my last two reviews, this will be completely spoiler free. I will be talking about the two previous books in very broad strokes and not go into too much detail. But this does pick up immediately after the events of the second book, so it's kind of hard to talk about this one without at least addressing what came before. So this book spans 25 years, which feels like it shouldn't work, but it really does. The first two books only spanned about 6 years, so this was definitely a step up. This allows the characters and setting to grow and evolve, and also kind of has the sense that all the characters have settled in a bit more to this war that's going on. The war being between the clan of No Peak and the Mountain Clan. Also, this time frame also provides some downtime, which really allows the characters to interact a bit more with each other and gives us a little bit more downtime. I already said that. I'm just going to continue. We really get to see all the characters just grow and evolve and go on this journey, and by the end you just feel like you're part of the Call family. Their growth is exemplified through the decisions and different tactics they have to take in different situations. This is based on how their priorities have changed and evolved, and also the fact that they are aging. An example of this is Hilo, who was very hot-headed previously, and he would never hesitate to go into a fight or go into a conflict and just face that head on. While his values are very much the same, his priorities have shifted, and he has to consider his age, his legacy, and what he may be losing if he goes into a direct conflict. This could be him getting hurt or even killed, damage to the reputation of the No Peak clan, or others getting caught in the crossfire. The characters now have to make decisions that on the surface feel very straightforward, but given the geopolitical dynamic and just the fact that they've fought this war for so long, have to kind of think in the long term and think of the long-term consequences. This leads to a lot of events in the book that will play out not at all how you think they would initially. It keeps you on your toes, and it just keeps you guessing as to what's going to happen next, and you're just constantly wondering what the end game is for these parties. With the world growing, we see a lot more factions at play. These range from corporate entities to mercenaries, rogue factions, different crime syndicates, or different allies for either clan. This is a result of the world changing and Jade being brought into the market. This opens the doors to a lot more different plot developments where the Call family can create new alliances, they have new enemies, or they just have to balance different political aspects and different relationships that have emerged as a result of KCON entering the world market. All these different plot threads combine just beautifully at the end. It really feels like everything has been building up to this and no stone is left unturned. Like I said, the events of this book take place immediately after the events of Jade War. A lot of the relationships are up in the air at the moment. We kind of have to see the characters deal with the fallout of what happened before. Since the time frame of this book is so long, the characters really have to sit with these feelings, and they either grow from them, mature, or they still kind of remain deeply wounded, and that's something they carry with them going forward. A lot of characteristics are also brought to the forefront where they're a lot more subtle or not as apparent as they were before. An example of this is in the character Andon, him being an espionage. I think I was pronouncing that the wrong time before, but in my previous two reviews, but I think it is espionage. His time there has allowed him to be a lot more independent and just kind of come into his own person. This, along with age, has really allowed him to gain more confidence in who he is, and he's no longer afraid to act against, not necessarily against the Cull family, but act without their approval and just kind of make decisions on his own. He is now a character who's kind of come out of the shadows and really has made his own impact on No Peak Clan and Janloon as a whole, and that's just awesome to see. I love that have that maturity and seeing people grow like that. Another character that we see grow is Shay. She does kind of remain static in the sense that she still remains very pragmatic, very strategic in a lot of the interclan dealings, but she kind of struggling to find her place in her family and in No Peak Clan. It's not that she wasn't very invested or wasn't already accepted into the family, but this time around she's just trying to balance everything a bit more and wants to settle down a bit. She now has this desire to very much be part of the family rather than just remain completely independent. Her family ties are almost haunting her as she continues her tasks as a weatherman. This is in contrast to who I still believe is her rival, 8 Mata. Unlike Mata, Shay has her family to keep her motivated and has something to keep her fighting for rather than just power. Mata is getting older now, and we're starting to see a bit of breaks in her almost invincible facade. We really get to see what lengths she'll go to gain power and protect what she already has. She still remains an unstoppable and cunning force against the Cull family, but we kind of see some desperation in her actions. This makes her an even more terrifying villain, but also humanizes her in a way. But yeah, she just remains a great foil to Shay. I touched on this a bit before, but another character who has changed and grown a lot is Hilo. It's not so much that his values have changed. He still very much holds the clan and his family in high regard, but we just kind of see his priorities shift and how that evolves and changes. This is done in the most natural and one of the best ways. It just feels like someone who's matured and grown through experience and age. We see his focus from doing anything for No Peak Clan and doing anything to uphold the values of a Green Bone warrior to doing anything to protect his family and to serve them. We also just see him be a lot more accepting of decisions or actions taken by other people in his family instead of lashing out or blocking them out of his life that he would have done in the past. He was probably one of my favorite characters in these books, and it was just awesome seeing him grow into a strong and considerate leader. We also see a new generation of characters being brought into the spotlight, and like their predecessors, they're just as dynamic and well thought out. It's a great chance to see how a new generation handles the changing world and just kind of seeing how things and cultural perspectives have shifted since KCON has opened itself up to the outside world. They do not share the exact same values and beliefs, but it does feel like a passing of a torch to these new generation of characters. I would love to see a series with this new cast of characters, but I'm very happy with how the story wrapped up and how their small arcs already concluded. The world just continues to grow and feel even more realized than it has before. This can be seen through physical changes taking place, and also just the overall vibe of the city is changing and evolving. There's honestly not too much to say except that this setting continues to be. There's honestly not too much to say except that uh, this is just a great setting. It's always it's well established and it's very dynamic and changes with the characters. So I would give Jade Legacy an S tier rating. Yeah, it's a great ending to an amazing series. I have nothing negative to say about it. I highly recommend this series to everyone, and I could see this becoming a premier television show. I'm honestly surprised that it hasn't already. It has all the pieces there for just an excellent show. So I know I gave this an S tier. I'm hoping I can maybe find a better ranking system, and I'm still kind of waffling as to if I should have one. Part of me likes having a scale, and then I can look back on that. But another part of me just wants to say like, hey, if you enjoyed this, maybe you should go check this out. But yeah, there's really no point to that. I have to figure that out. Yeah, hopefully I'll come to a decision soon. So stay tuned. I hope I convinced you to read this awesome series, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I will be uploading a series retrospective soon, which will be completely spoiler filled, spoiler heavy. And yeah, that will just kind of be like a discussion where I kind of can share my thoughts, how I reacted to certain plot points. So if you've already read the series, I hope you would go check that out. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like the video, please consider subscribing or leaving a like. That would help me out, and I'd really appreciate that. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.